I guess we could start rolling the tape.
Many people think that sexism is part of human nature, an inherent part of human nature, and that men have always been dominant over women. But this is not true. But this myth that sexism is part of human nature is perpetuated by the capitalists, because then it seems like there's no way we can fight sexism and that it's here to stay. Modern humans have been around for about 120,000 years, and 110,000 of those years, human societies have been organized in an egalitarian and communal way. In those kind of societies, there was a division of labor, but women's work, or the work that women did, was equally valued. And not only that, the division of labor wasn't rigid. Sometimes the jobs were interchangeable between the men and the women. Also, some of those early societies, pre-class societies we could call them, were dominated by women in the sense, or led by women. They were matriarchal societies, and some were patriarchal, led by men, which really proves the point that there's no one way that human society has been organized, and therefore it can't be seen as part of human nature. Now, in class societies, the division of labor continued between men and women, but it was much more rigid. In one part of the world, like in Vietnam, women did the heavy agricultural work in the field. Among the Yoruba people in Nigeria, women were the commercial traders. And in many cultures in the world, women's work was exclusively in the home. But what was similar in all of these societies, all over the world, was that whatever became designated as women's work, even if men did it somewhere else, whatever became designated as women's work was denigrated and undervalued, and that was the basis upon which sexism was built.
You know, it doesn't make any sense to me to say sexism is part of human nature. I mean, how would that even happen? How would that develop? Where would that be? Is there going to be a sexism gene or something? It doesn't make any sense to me at all, and I don't even know where people get these ideas about sexism being part of human nature. I thought what she said was really interesting. I didn't know all that stuff.
I think it's kind of hard to know what all of human history was like 110,000 or 100,000 years ago. But I think we actually can know from our own lives that what she said is right about that there is no such thing as a natural situation where men lead and women follow. Because we can see from our social lives and from the ways that we get along with our friends and the ways that families work, that on one issue someone will lead, and on another question, another issue, someone else will lead. And that's true from our own experience.
Well, there's no such thing as human nature. Human nature is what we learn. All human behaviors are controlled by the cerebral cortex, and everything that all advanced behaviors or complicated behaviors that humans do, it's all learned. There's nothing innate about, there's no such thing as human nature. Human nature is what, as individuals, we learn in our development. So if we learn to be sexist, then that's what human nature will be, sexist. If we learn not to be sexist, then human nature will be non-sexist.
Okay, so this whole thing about women's role inside the home, that they work in the kitchen and they cook, and it's not part of natural selection. I guess that's what we're...
My wife doesn't work in the kitchen and cook, so I don't believe so.